So this judge that has been stopping all of the deportation flights turns out to have a major scandal going on that is a scandal. It's a conflict, quite possibly illegal. And I want to talk about it. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, which is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida and you need roof repair or replacement on any type of structure, Tom Laporta can do it. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. He's a good MAGA guy. Find him online at laportaroofing.com. All right, let's get into it. This has been going around for a couple days. Now I got some more details, and there's a big article that is in the New York Post. And I want to go through this. I mean, this is the judge, I want to just remind you, this is the judge that's stopping all of the deportation flights. Listen to of the rapists, murderers, drug traffickers, human traffickers, to that El Salvadorian prison. Listen to this. It's Judge Boasberg, the daughter of D.C. District Court Judge James Boasberg, is employed by a nonprofit that's received millions in government funding and opposes the Lincoln-Riley Act. Who'd be against the Lincoln-Riley Act? Monsters, that's who. And whose founder, this is the founder of the daughter's organization, and whose founder argued that the jurist rightly blocked President Trump from swiftly deporting alleged Venezuelan gang members. Now, before I go through this, this is just like the judge in New York, Judge Merchan, right? Remember Judge Merchan, that was the criminal trial, the illegal criminal trial in New York. And his daughter was a big Democrat fundraiser. Remember, she raised over $100 million from Democrats, promising to put Trump in prison. And Judge Merchan even left seats open and reserved for his daughter in his courtroom during the trial so she could bring donor clients in, I guess, to see what they were getting paid for, huh? Listen to this. The daughter of the federal judge who halted the Trump administration from using the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to send Tren de Agua members to a mega prison in El Salvador conducts capacity building work in public defender offices across the nation for the nonprofit group Partners in Justice. So this is a big, sounds like a Soros group, doesn't it? This is a big organization. Partners in Justice removed the daughter's biography page from its website after her father was assigned the Alien Enemies Act case. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, people are not typically, held responsible for the sins of their father, okay? But like with Judge Merchan, you have the family business. Is this pro-illegal alien advocacy? And if the judge was ruling properly, this guy's the president of the United States, and what he's doing is in the scope of his authority as commander-in-chief and president, we wouldn't even be talking about this other than what a punchline. His daughter turned out to be a lefty loony. But there's obviously something wrong here in this family, like with Judge Merchan. The group's latest filing shows it received more than $3.3 million in government grants in 2023, which made up about half of their total revenues, and public social media posts from the group's founder demonstrate that it is staunchly pro-illegal immigrant. Now, that $3.3 million in government grants, what if that was USAID? Partners in Justice's founder and executive director, Emily Galvin Almanza, tweeted on March 15th in response to a news report on Judge Boasberg's temporary restraining order blocking the Trump administration from using the 18th century law to deport alleged criminal illegal migrants. Last month, Galvin Almanza, Galvin-Almanza, rallied against the Lincoln-Riley Act on a video on X bearing her nonprofit's logo. The activist, this is nuts, isn't it? Of everything the daughter could be doing of this corrupt judge that's stopping the deportation, she's with this group whose whole mission is to stop these deportations. There's no connection. Come on. Even if there wasn't, the connection is enough for him to say, hey, I can't have anything to do with this because, it looks bad. I lost my place. The activists slammed the law, which requires the detention of illegal immigrants charged with certain crimes as horrible and cruel because it reduces the power judges have in cases involving criminal migrants. One of Trump's closest advisors, Elon Musk, described the daughter's ties with the nonprofit as concerning. And I would say it's more than concerning. Elon's comment came in response to an ex-post alleging that Partners in Justice provides legal advice and representation to illegal aliens, including the Trinidad de Agua and MS-13 members. So they're like lawyers for the Venezuelan gang and MS-13. The daughter's group claims its client advocates do not provide legal representation or legal advice. Oh, yeah, that's just bullcrap. Generally, we strengthen public defender teams by embedding client advocates with defenders to help fulfill urgent needs like housing, employment, medicine, and more, whatever that means. Partners in Justice did not respond to the New York Post request for comment. Earlier this week, Trump blasted Judge Boasberg. Yeah, well, he should. I mean, come on, guys. What truly is insane to me about this is that it's the second time it's happened. Judge Merchan in this. There's obviously scandal here. Just the fact that his daughter is working for this organization is enough to show a conflict and he should remove himself. Since he has not removed himself, and he's gotten a bunch of other Trump cases, which they're looking into, they're investigating to find out how this one Judge Boasberg's getting all the Trump cases. But the fact that he does not recuse himself shows that he's corrupt. There's no doubt this judge is corrupt. And by the way, this story was first broken by Laura Loomer. The article I shared with you was, of course, in the New York Post. But Laura Loomer was the originator who uncovered this. And now others in the media, like the New York Post, are grabbing onto it, to try to make it their own. And let me play that. This is a clip of the Doge interview that Brett Baer did with Elon and the Doge team.
Are you surprised at some of the legal efforts and some of the judges that have weighed in? There's about 8 or 10 now of these cases that are at least temporary holds. They're being challenged by the DOJ.
Right.
Are you surprised by that pushback?
Well, the D.C. Circuit is notorious for having a very far-left bias. And when you look at the people close to some of these judges,
hear this?
Where are they working? Oh, they're working at these NGOs. Oh, they're the ones getting this money. Does that seem like a system that lacks corruption? It sounds like corruption to me.
Yeah, in fact, about half of the judges that are issuing these orders against Trump have a spouse or a child that works for one of these left-wing NGOs. Okay. I mean, and this is how it's done in Washington, right? Their family members get these jobs where they get paid. And that's how these families get rich. These politicians and judges and such, they can't get money directly for these organizations, but their spouse can, or their child can, or their daughter or son-in-law can. That's how they do it. And the question is, what's Pam Bondi going to do about it? And I think she's going to do a lot. I know that Pam Bondi is investigating how the judge got these 4 cases, Judge Boasberg. It takes time. We got to be patient. And I know that the attention span of so many of us in this country is, and I'm not saying I'm excluded from this, because my attention span is short too sometimes, because I want these things to happen like 6 months ago. But we have a TikTok attention span now. We want everything to happen yesterday. And it just can't be that way. Not if you want it done legally and properly. But, the fact that there's not only that they're still doing this, that they're so openly doing this shows how fearless they are. I was on a live stream on YouTube early this morning. If you were watching, you heard me talk about this as an example. People like the judge, they're obviously corrupt, but they don't know they're corrupt. And what I mean by that is that this is how Washington works, right? You got a job in government, and your family get these fake jobs where they get paid, and that's how you and your family get rich. And it's been that way for so long. They don't even know or understand that it's wrong or corrupt. That's just how it works to them, right? And I would really like some reporter to do a perp walk question and answer with Stacey Abrams over the $2 billion. Elon's mentioned it multiple times, including in the Brett Baer interview. And the reason I'd like that is not just because she needs to be exposed. Her fake NGO her fake organization was getting $2 billion with a B, which the Trump administration has stopped. But I'd like to see her reaction. Would her reaction, is she angry? Would she be openly angry that they stopped the $2 billion, Stacey Abrams, from coming in? Or would she act differently than that in some other way? And what I mean by that is, if she, most people like you or me, because we're honest people that obey the law, we'd be like nervous, like, oh my goodness, they got us caught. And are they going to be arresting us because we were involved in this money scam of $2 billion, which is a lot of money. And the Space Shuttle Columbia cost $2 billion to make, right? Aircraft carriers used to cost $1 billion back in the 80s and 90s. Now, is she angry, or is she afraid that she might get in trouble? And that would tell you where her mindset is at and where the mindset of these people in Washington are. And I don't think they're scared. Like this Judge Boasberg, he's very bold about this. They feel totally justified. They think it's okay for them to have these conflicts of interest. They think Trump's evil and that they're doing us a patriotic duty by trying to stop him, or they wouldn't be so open about it. I mean, for this judge to have his daughter with this organization and not recusing himself, this guy is as corrupt as the day is long, and he's criminally insane to not recuse himself. Now, I want to thank the Patreon supporters for your support of the program. Thank you so much to all of you. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode of my podcast. And remember, if you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of the Brian Craig Show podcast. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish, Wilkerson, John S., Frank, Dale, David, Laura B., Rob L., and SF Jr. Thank you all for your support. Those are our top Patreon supporters. This is just bizarre. This is I guess what they would call a Karen, a white liberal woman, and she's talking about the military. Listen to this psycho.
This might not be a popular topic, but I have an opinion about the military.
I bet. I
don't like that we give our military guys 10% discounts and different things at different businesses. Because they're already living off the taxpayer dollar.
Oh, my goodness.
And some of them get benefits, on different places throughout their life, even after they're not serving. So even if they went and served a year, they're like, oh, I still get a discount for the rest of my life because I served for 1 year. Like, what about us who are paying for those taxes for our whole life? And we get no break. We get no benefit for supporting our military and for paying for them all these years. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. They get benefits for so many different things. And then they can still go on base even after they're out, and they can get tax-free food and buy it on base. And I don't know. I don't even know all the stuff that happens that they get all these benefits, but I don't like it. I think we should get benefits, not them.
So everybody should get it. That is such social media is weird, isn't it? That was from Libs of TikTok. It's just weird. People make these videos about the most insane things, and then they put them up online. And what would possess someone to put something like that online about the military? And why does she have such a little anger thing going on with the military? I don't know. It is a very bizarre thing to put out. But it's also revealing because it shows how liberals really feel about our service personnel. They hate them, and they hate them for all kinds of reasons, and most of the reasons are that they're, supporting America and they hate America. But what a strange woman. And, it's weird about that video. You can't see it because it's audio, but she's wearing a green pullover sweater that kind of looks like something somebody in the military would wear. The green is almost like an army color green. Very, very weird. We'll take a quick break and be right back. You followed all the rules. You did everything right, too. And you have success. You made it. So why does something still feel like it's missing? That quiet whisper of what now? It's not just a thought. It's a signal. It's a wake-up call. From global strategist and author Sharif Labib comes the must-read and life-changing book, Paradigms Unlocked, A Journey to Clarity, Purpose, and Fulfillment. Available on Amazon. Paradigms Unlocked is a blueprint for your transformation. With this book, you'll discover the hidden beliefs shaping your life and learn how to break through the barriers, rewire your mindset, and create a future filled with clarity and purpose. The author has spent over 25 years guiding Fortune 500 companies and high achievers, uncovering the hidden forces that dictate success and fulfillment, helping leaders, organizations, and individuals just like you break through mental barriers, redefine success, and take control of their future. And he's sharing his knowledge with you in Paradigms Unlocked. You know there's more for you, more success, more meaning, more fulfillment. But nothing changes unless you do. Break free, take control, and unlock your true potential with Paradigms Unlocked, A Journey to Clarity, Purpose, and Fulfillment from author Sharif Labib. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Take control of your future right now with Paradigms Unlocked on Amazon. Are you confused by food labels? Wondering if organic is really better? Find the answers to those questions and more in the new book from author Evgeny Trufkin, The Anti-Factory Farm Shopping Guide, available on Amazon. Filled with fun illustrations as well as easy-to-follow insights, The Anti-Factory Farm Shopping Guide breaks down factory farm versus organic food, shares the truth about pesticides and what labels really mean. Plus, there's free video lessons that help you take action fast. You'll learn much more, too, like the differences between caged, cage-free, free-range, and pasture-raised meats and eggs. Learn to easily identify genetically modified foods, the myth about safe pesticides, why seeing vegetarian feed on a label is actually a bad thing, even if it's organic, and much, much more. Start eating healthier, shopping smarter, and avoid food industry tricks, and order your copy of The Anti-Factory Farm Shopping Guide from author Evgeny Trufkin on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Have you ever wondered how our digital world evolved and where it's heading next? Find the answers to those questions and more in the new book from author Dr. Damola Salake, Chronicles of the New Digital Age, available on Amazon. Chronicles of the New Digital Age is a fascinating journey through the evolution of the internet. The author breaks it all down, from the early days of static websites and Web 1.0 to the social explosion of Web 2.0, and now the decentralized immersive world of Web 3.0. This must-read book is packed with insights about the innovations and disruptions that have shaped how we live, work, and connect. Chronicles of the New Digital Age makes it easy to understand how far we've come and where technology is headed. So whether you're a technology lover, a curious professional, or just someone who wants to understand how all this digital stuff fits into our lives, this is the book for you. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Chronicles of the New Digital Age from author Dr. Damola Salake on Amazon. The future is happening. Are you ready? From author Greg Stewart, PhD, comes a transformative book that shows you how to confront and embrace your negative emotions as a pathway to growth and healing. I-Cubed, Information, Interpretation, Intensity. In this must-read and life-changing book, the author explains everything we do is an attempt to achieve an emotional goal. And if someone is pushing your buttons, it's time to uninstall those buttons. You'll discover 3 powerful tenets to emotional management. Emotion is energy. The right brand and amount of emotion emotional energy is key, and all negative emotions are exposing something within you. You'll also learn how to reclaim your power, redefine your narrative, and transform emotional storms into opportunities for growth. Available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and audiobook, as well as the author's website, drgregstewart.com. I-Cubed, Information, Interpretation, Intensity, from author Greg Stewart, PhD. Order your copy today and unlock the inner strength behind your negative emotions.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Now, when the Kennedy files came out a couple weeks ago, a lot of people thought it was uneventful, and I don't think it was. In fact, I've seen more come out than I really was expecting. And maybe most people don't think that way. Maybe I see it that way because my expectations are so low when it comes to these file releases. Because, you know, the one thing about the JFK files, yes, it was a government conspiracy. We have a confirmation that all the conspiracies are true, that the CIA killed Kennedy. And the same people behind killing Kennedy shot Trump and Butler and tried to do it at the golf course. Most every American believes that. But I didn't expect a lot, because when people are conspiring to commit high treason and murder, they don't keep a record of it. And all the government investigations, the Warren Commission and all of that, were part of a racket. I mean, you know, the Warren Commission did what they did, and Gerald Ford was paid off by being made president without being elected, the only president who wasn't elected. Because remember, he was not even elected vice president. You know, we know all that. But stuff is coming out, and more will come out over time. And there's still more files to be released that we haven't gotten yet. They're all coming out. But Anna Paulina Luna was on with Jesse Waters last night, and she dropped a bombshell.
I would like to actually tell the American people, it was made aware to me this evening that NBC actually has a video that's never been seen before. We're actually going to be sending a letter requesting that from NBC, because it allegedly shows Oswald near the vehicle when the assassination took place, which means that he couldn't have been the shooter. So again, we're tracking down all this information. But look, there's even a CIA document that came out that Mr. Morley pointed out that actually said that the CIA never bought the lone gunman theory. And so
because they were the gunmen. But this photograph with Oswald near President Kennedy's car, that's something I've never heard before. And I'm very curious as to where she got that information from, that NBC has this photograph, and that's new. And we're getting all kinds of information. So don't let yourself fall into this trap that, we're getting nothing and all of this. No, a lot is coming out. And it's also renewed interest in the Kennedy assassination. You know, President Trump is so popular, and everyone believes that, you know, the government did what happened in Butler and the golf course, you know. And there's a whole new couple of generations that are interested in the Kennedy assassination. People will be pouring through these files for years to come. There's a lot of names that will be investigated, and more is going to come out, like this new little angle with the NBC photograph with Oswald. This is all great stuff, man. This is incredible stuff. Now, Pam Bondi is pretty tough, you know, and the way she's been handling things is so beautiful. You know, she had a press conference in Virginia after that MS-13 arrest, and I'm going to play a clip from it. And a reporter asks her a question about the MS-13 arrest, but then asks her about this signal chat. And her response is awesome. And, you know, the thing about the signal chat, and then I'm going to go over a story that Loomer has that I want to share involving this too. But the signal chat's kind of fizzled out, hasn't it? It's lost a lot of steam. You're not hearing so much about it because it's a big nothing and it fizzled. But anyway, this is Pam Bondi at this press conference. Listen.
Off topic. Can someone speak?
Of course you have to go off topic.
Question number one. Can someone describe what this suspect's role was in MS-13 in terms of what kind of activity was he overseeing?
All we're saying now, for certain reasons, we're not identifying him by name.
Now, this part's all fine.
The top members, top 3 in the entire country, head of the East Coast, one of the 3 leaders, and I will say, very violent crimes. Anything you can associate with MS-13, he was the leader over it. All of the violent crimes. So he's very dangerous. He should not have been in this country. He's from El Salvador, and he was recruited at a very early age. And it rose to the leadership, and you have to be bad, you have to be tough to get there.
Okay, so now this part's fine, and it's relevant to what the press conference is about, because this is the press conference the day of the MS-13 arrest. But now the guy's going to ask her about the Signal chat, and her answer is, like, it's amazing.
But he is no longer tough because he is behind bars.
Off-topic question. In terms of the Signals chat controversy that's going on, is DOJ involved at this point? If so, why? If not, why not?
Well, first, it was sensitive information, not classified, and inadvertently released. And what we should be talking about is it was a very successful mission. Our world is now safer because of that mission. We're not going to comment any further on that. If you want to talk about classified information, talk about what was at Hillary Clinton's home that she was trying to bleach bit. Talk about the classified documents in Joe Biden's garage that Hunter Biden had access to. This was not classified information, and we are very pleased with the results of that operation and that the entire world is safer because of it.
Oh, I love her throwing in the Biden documents and Hillary. That was beautiful. Now, when this story broke and I first started talking about it, I told you guys this. And Laura Loomer has confirmed that my suspicions are true on this with some reporting she has, which I'll share with you in a moment. But what I had shared is, you know, why are they burning their sources on this right now, right? It's early on. They burned this CCP connected guy that works for Mike Walls. What's that all about? And I had said at the time, I think what a lot of this has to do, the Signal chat, is they don't have anyone on Trump's team or cabinet that are out there to sabotage like they did the first time. We have a very, very loyal cabinet and staff with President Trump, which we did not have before. You know, most of his staff last time with Republican establishment trying to screw President Trump over every step of the way, leaking everything. And they've wanted to get someone in there that can spy and leak and disrupt. And listen to this. Laura Loomer posted last night, on X. This is Laura Loomer on X. Adding more insult to injury, not only did Senator Tom Cotton, I remember Tom Cotton's name keeps coming up, right? It was reported that he was trying to stop, but Tucker Carlson reported that Tom Cotton was trying to stop the JFK files from being released a couple weeks ago. Remember that? Senator Tom Cotton's name keeps coming up, and it's always coming up in a very nasty, negative, Republican establishment, never Trumper kind of way. He denies all these things, but come on. So back to Loomer. Loomer posted this on X last night. Adding more insult to injury, not only did Senator Tom Cotton, and I like that she tagged him on this, hire Trump hater Bill Kristol's son, Joe, to be his legislative director during the first Trump administration. And Bill Kristol's a big never Trumper, and he's really pissed because his Weekly Standard's out of business because of Trump. But guess where Bill Kristol's son, Joe, is now currently working? While his father, a huge Trump hater, is making a public push for Tom Cotton to replace Pete Hegseth as defense secretary. Joe Kristol works for the Elliott Investment Management, LP. Elliott Investment Management was founded by notorious billionaire Trump hater Paul Singer, who is the current president, out of Palm Beach. He's the same billionaire who funded in 2015, listen to this, Fusion GPS, the Steele dossier. So Bill Kristol's son is working for the billionaire who funded the Steele dossier and all of that. And Bill Kristol's pushing to have Tom Cotton, to have Pete Hegseth fired and have him replaced with Tom Cotton. It tells you everything, doesn't it? According to FEC records, Loomer found Paul Singer has donated to Tom Cotton. So you got another connection. Tom Cotton hired Joe Crystal. Tom Cotton hired Alex Wong. Alex Wong is the CCP staffer of Tim Walz, who set up the signal chat and added the Atlantic reporter. Okay. So he's the one who actually did it. Tom Cotton hired Joe Crystal. Tom Cotton hired Alex Wong. Tom Cotton referred Alex Wong to work under Mike Waltz. It appears that Tom Cotton has maintained close relationship with the Crystal family. Things get really interesting when you look at all these incestuous connections. You'd think someone would have caught this during vetting. Yeah. I mean, this is amazing. Now, I did retweet that of Laura Loomer, and she had another tweet too that says the same thing in a little different way. Loomer, this was also yesterday. Many people, this is Loomer on X. Many people are wondering why there are calls to fire Pete Hegseth, but no calls to fire Mike Waltz. There's an active OPP taking place, and it involves Chinese Alex Wong, Senator Tom Cotton, who's been plotting to take Pete Hegseth's job. Tom Cotton has been gunning for a role in the Trump administration for a long time. And if this is Loomer, and if you recall, the mainstream media ran an entire shadow influence campaign to pitch Tom Cotton as defense secretary before the election. Alex Wong is not only Mike Waltz's deputy national security advisor, but he also served as the foreign policy advisor for Tom Cotton from 2015 to 2017. It was Cotton who referred Wong to Waltz. Tom Cotton, and then she goes on a little, and this is interesting. So why would he want to leave the Senate, right? Well, Loomer tells us Tom Cotton knows he's getting primaried, so he wants to be the defense secretary. After being passed over, he was initially rumored to be a top contender to be CIA director or defense secretary. He wants to be defense secretary, even though he said he doesn't. It appears he's even having never-Trumpers like Bill Kristol do his bidding for him. That was the other tweet. And then she goes into the stuff about the son. Did you know, this is Loomer, did you know that Bill Kristol's son Joseph was appointed as Tom Cotton's legislative director during the first Trump administration? 2 days ago, Bill Kristol tweeted that Hegseth would be fired by Trump by today, which has come and gone. And then he floated Tom Cotton to be Hegseth's replacement. Alex Wong was on the signal chat. He's the deputy to Mike Waltz, and he was the one that added the Atlantic guide to the thing. So, here we got it. I mean, it's happening. It's all out there. And, if I know about it, if Loomer knows about it, the president knows about it. So I'm not worried. President Trump will do the right thing and he'll handle it. But this is what's happening. And, these plots against President Trump are never going to stop. I mean, and I think President Trump knows that. And I really like the way he's handled all of this. He's handled this in a way that's not given the press or the Democrats anywhere to go, because if he's constantly responding to these things, they get more life to them, right? And he hasn't been doing that. And I don't expect him to fire anyone, because to fire someone, after all this, and that doesn't mean someone should be fired that he's not firing. But if the president were to fire Mike Waltz, for example, the way the press and the Democrats would handle that is like a confession of guilt of corruption inside his administration. And that would be that they would just build and build and build. Then they would push to get rid of somebody else, right? These are terrorists. You can't deal with Democrats. It's like dealing with a terrorist. You give them something and they never say, oh, okay, that's great. We got what we want. They want more. So this is just wonderful how this is playing out. And Laura Loomer is doing great work during this, isn't she? She's doing incredible work. And I do believe she's unofficially working for President Trump. I think she's got kind of like an undercover black ops investigative team for him. And she's been doing so much good reporting in the last week. She always does good, but the last week she's been on top of everything that's been going on that everyone's concerned and talking about. And everything she's reporting are things that help the president, which is good too. But I think she's working for him. And when I say working for them, I don't mean like she's just doing this on her own to work for him. I think that the president has her working for him. And I think it's obvious. Some of the information she's getting is well sourced from, it has to be from insiders. So how's she getting inside sources in the Trump administration that has such a tight ship that's leaking nothing? It's because she's working for the president, would be my guess. My name's Brian. We'll take a quick break and be right back. From author Greg Stewart, PhD, comes a transformative book that shows you how to confront and embrace your negative emotions as a pathway to growth and healing. I-Cubed, Information, Interpretation, Intensity. In this must-read and life-changing book, the author explains everything we do is an attempt to achieve an emotional goal. And if someone is pushing your buttons, it's time to uninstall those buttons. You'll discover 3 powerful tenets to emotional management. Emotion is energy. The right brand and amount of emotional energy is key, and all negative emotions are exposing something within you. You'll also learn how to reclaim your power, redefine your narrative, and transform emotional storms into opportunities for growth. Available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and audiobook, as well as the author's website, drgregstewart.com. I-Cubed, Information, Interpretation, Intensity. From author Greg Stewart, PhD. Order your copy today and unlock the inner strength behind your negative emotions.
This is Dr. Philip Appleton. I'm a chiropractic physician. I've seen thousands and thousands of patients in my career. I've been a chiropractic physician here in Pompano Beach for 40 years. We're open 6 days a week. If you have sciatica, you have bursitis, you have tendinitis, you're tired of taking the pills, the drugs, the injections, and you heard that you have to live with it. Well, there's a lot of times you don't have to live with it. I've had great success with helping people. My testimonials are marvelous with patients. They love the treatment because no injections, there's no medication, there's no surgery. There's none of that. It's strictly either the laser or the acupuncture I do or shockwave therapy I do. Open 6 days a week. Come in for the free consultation and be willing to look at you and help you.
Take advantage of that no-charge consultation with Dr. Appleton. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. If you're a homeowner or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Laporta Roofing has been in the roofing and construction business since 1984, with thousands of roof installations and thousands of satisfied customers. Did you know that in the state of Florida, you can open a roofing company and borrow someone else's license? Tom Laporta is the holder of his roofing and general contractor's licenses, not like the other companies that borrow other people's licenses. So be sure who you're dealing with. Tom Laporta and his team are honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Roofing carries all insurance, including workers' compensation on all of its employees, not just a waiver like other contractors. Laporta Roofing can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing, HOAs, condominiums, and churches. If it's roofing, Laporta Roofing can do it. So call Tom Laporta on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, or connect online at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602. Laporta Roofing, the go-to roofing company you can trust. What if the news didn't just tell you the story, but made you live it? Author Emily Tiffany Joy takes you inside a near-future society where the line between fact and fiction disappears in Technesthesia, a new journalism, available on Amazon. In Technesthesia, enter a world where technology has rewritten human perception. Truth is no longer reported, it's experienced. In the future of journalism, memory, identity, and reality itself are no longer your own. If truth can be felt rather than proven, does it still matter if it's real? Technesthesia is a mind-bending, thought-provoking journey into the next evolution of media. Author Emily Tiffany Joy is a philosopher and founder of the Center for Non-Adversarial Knowledge Structuring. It's a groundbreaking initiative that's dedicated to ethical innovation, responsible artificial intelligence frameworks, and much more. The future isn't coming, it's already here. Order your copy right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Technesthesia from author Emily Tiffany Joy.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
The interview that Bret Baier did with Elon Musk of the Doge team it was 2 days. Part 2 was on Friday, and it was just phenomenal. And I don't think I've played any clips from it. You should go and watch the full interview. Okay, I'm going to play one clip now But you should go back and watch that full interview with Bret Baier, with the entire Doge team and Elon, and watch the whole thing. I'm sure it's available on the Fox site or their YouTube channel. It's just fantastic. And you really share it on your socials. It's amazing. But I wanted to play this one clip, and this is from the Friday part 2, and it was the one-on-one with Bret Baier and Elon Musk. And Elon says some important things here.
Companies are suffering.
Let me cue it up. All right, here we go. I got it queued now.
Are suffering because I'm in the government. You just pointed that out a moment ago.
Right.
Do you think it helps sales if dealerships are being firebombed? Of course not. And Tesla customers are being intimidated all over the country and all over Europe. Mm-hmm. Does that help Tesla? Mm-mm. I mean, you had Tim Waltz, who's a huge jerk, running around on stage with the Tesla stock price where the stock price had gone in half, and he was overjoyed. Mm. What an evil thing to do! What a creep! What a jerk! Like who derives joy from that? And it was pointed out to him that actually, Minnesota State Pension Fund is a major investor in Tesla. But he didn't care. He was so overjoyed by Tesla stock going half.
Yeah. And what's happening here is you've got Tim Walz and the whole Democrat Party, right, inciting this violence. See, that's the difference. You have freedom of speech with some limitations, if it hurts someone else. And incitement of violence is not protected speech because you're inciting violence against others. And they're inciting violence and even justifying it. And I was watching a video, which I retweeted on my X. This lunatic on a freeway somewhere was chasing down a guy in a Cybertruck, and he had a gun. And when Elon talked about that, there's a lot of passion in his voice and anger. And this guy's the richest man in the world with very important companies, and his employees and his customers are being terrorized by the Democrats. And he's not going to take this sitting down. In fact, when his time is up running Doge, I bet you full time he's going to be going after that. He's not going to mess around with it. It's insane what the Democrats are inciting and approving and endorsing. Maria Bartiromo had the chairman of the FCC on over the weekend, and he dropped something huge. Listen to this. Brendan Carr is his name. He's the chairman of the FCC. He announced an investigation into the DEI practices at Disney and his flagship company on ABC. He mentioned this on X. He's been on with Bartiromo, and he posted this on X over the weekend. This is big. So why would he be investigating Disney over DEI? What would be criminal about DEI at a company like Disney? Well, I'm going to tell you in a second. It's in the article, but think about it. What do you think he's investigating? And this is what the FCC chair wrote on X. I've asked the FCC's Enforcement Bureau to open an investigation into Disney and ABC. While Disney started as an iconic American company, it recently went all in on DEI. I am concerned that their DEI practices may violate FCC prohibitions on forms of discrimination. In his letter, that's right, they're racial and maybe gender too, but racial discrimination. In his letter addressed to Bob Iger, he's the CEO of Disney, he explains he wants to ensure that Disney and ABC have not been violating FCC equal employment opportunity regulations. This is really amazing because they never thought that these things would be used against them, right? They have all these federal regulations on equal opportunity to protect leftists. They never thought that this reverse discrimination and racism would be a thing. And even if it was, they didn't think it'd be something that would be challenged, investigated. Okay. According to Carr, the Communications Act and FCC prohibit regulated entities like Disney's ABC, because they're a broadcast network, from discriminating on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, age, or gender. This is beautiful. I mean, this is great. He also cited several news reports from recent years in the reasoning for an FCC investigation, including one employee account to amount to racially segregated affinity groups and spaces. So they have segregated areas at the company, right, where white people are not allowed to walk. Can you imagine safe spaces? They don't even, now Democrats, they were responsible for segregation of the past and they brought it back in a different way, but it's still segregation and they don't even see it. Disney also publicly launched a Reimagine Tomorrow initiative, it would appear, as a mechanism for advancing its DEI mission, Carr wrote. See, he's really thought about this. This isn't something he just did on a whim. It also implemented mandatory inclusion standards across ABC, requiring, for example, that 50% of regular and recurring characters be drawn from underrepresented groups. These standards may have forced racial and identity quotas into every level of production, demanding that 50% or more of writers, directors, crew, and vendors be selected based on group identity, Carr wrote. Only 1% of Disney shareholders voted against the Human Rights Campaign Corporate Equality Index last week. The HRC's Corporate Equity Index is described as a national benchmarking tool on corporate policies, practices, and benefits pertinent to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer employees. Disney earned a top score, a perfect score of 100 this year. Chairman Carr has been consistent and clear from day one. He expects all regulated businesses to end any form of DEI discrimination, said the FCC. That's huge. And it's not just that he's going after them. It's that once they do it, it's going to establish legally that this is racial, gender discrimination, and it's going to open up other people and other companies to being investigated for this racial discrimination, because that's exactly what it is. Racial discrimination, 100%, gender discrimination, and they're going to be in trouble for this. And they're going after ABC because they got an FCC license for their broadcast television network. And I don't know if they still own radio, but they still have the TV network, ABC. And this is also has something to do with the fact that ABC, the way they behaved in that debate with President Trump, I'm sure, and Kamala, opened them up in the 60 Minutes editing at CBS. They're on the radar too. So these racially discriminatory practices of these companies through DEI, they were what the left were doing through critical race theory, DEI, whatever thing they wanted to call it, the 1619 Project. They were legislating and legalizing discrimination, racism, and it's just not going to fly. I saw someone in my live stream chat room this morning on YouTube who was in the UK, and I told him, I said, the UK it's lost. It's lost. Most of it has been lost. Ireland now is going through, McGregor is talking about running for their presidency. What's going on in Ireland, it's really frightening. And, Ireland is a small country with a very small population. And if Conor McGregor doesn't go in there and take care of business and get there and save their country, it's going to be lost quick, because there's only 9 million is the population of Ireland. It's very tiny. Listen to this. A teacher got into some trouble over there. Listen to what happened. And this is over the trans ideology. This is a local news report out of Ireland.
Enoch Burke here. I'm standing outside the Bank of Ireland branch in Castlebar, County Mayo. When I left my workplace today, Wilson's Hospital School, at about 5:30 in the evening, I checked my bank balance, and this is what I found.
Okay, now this is the teacher in question who's doing this. And maybe I'm wrong. I thought this was a news account. I think it's just him posting this up on social media, but it looks like news. His bank account balance, he shows it, is £0. It is empty. Okay? He had £40,000 in his bank account, and now his bank account is £0. All the money's disappeared. Listen.
Enoch Burke here. I'm standing outside the Bank of Ireland branch in Castlebar, County Mayo.
It does sound like a newscast, doesn't it? And the way the way he's standing too looks like one.
Enoch Burke here. I'm standing outside the Bank of Ireland branch in Castlebar, County Mayo. When I left my workplace today, Wilson's Hospital School, at about 5:30 in the evening, I checked my bank balance, and this is what I found. €0 in my bank account. I have been robbed of €40,617 by the courts. Judge David Nolan, Mr. Rossa Fanning, the Attorney General, and the government all working nuts. Hand in hand.
Okay, so what happened with this guy, the reason they seized his €40,000 is because he was fired and he refused to use a student's preferred pronouns. Refused to use a student's preferred pronouns, so they did this to him.
These people are millionaires. They're driving out of the forecourts in their big cars, but they're vultures sniffing around now to take from me everything I own, to strip from me every asset I have, and to look for anything that I might have that they can take away.
Nuts.
That's what these people are doing.
Yeah. We're so lucky in this country that President Trump won and saved us, because what's going on right now in Europe would be having here. Now, this is a news story that tells you how far things have gone in the UK. Okay, this is in the UK, and this is a reporter talking about this system of justice that they have now. I guess it's law in the UK. It's well, let me just play it. It explains itself. They have this 2-tier justice system that is the law of the land now in Britain.
Sir Keir Starmer and Shabana Mahmood, who is a Justice Secretary, and saying, I'm afraid to say, these are what's going to happen. And from Tuesday, this is what will happen. Judges will prepare pre-sentencing reports when necessary. And if someone is of ethnic, cultural or faith minority, or a young person under 25, or a woman or a pregnant woman, they will get a special sentencing report. Normally, those pre-sentencing reports do mean that the sentence is mitigated, that time is taken off for a jail term, for example. What it means, though, is that white men are going to be treated a lot tougher by judges from Tuesday compared to other groups in society.
Okay, yeah, so white men are open to the maximum sentence, but other groups, Muslims, transgender, whatever, all these other protected groups, they get a lesser sentence. And they're doing this under what they're calling cultural sensitivity guidelines. And that's the law over there now. That's the way it is. And, that's where we were going in this country. But we've been saved by it, by the president. If Kamala Harris or Biden, or really, frankly, even these fake Republicans that were running against President Trump had become president, none of what is happening now would be happening. All these positive things would not have happened. And not only that, they would have, these wokesters on the left would have taken a defeat of President Trump as an endorsement that the American people want them to quadruple down on what they're doing. And these crazy things that are happening in Ireland and in England would be coming to our country. Yeah. Now, this clip here, this is Congressman Tim Burchett. Have you seen this? He's a Republican from Tennessee, and he got one of these liberal so-called citizen journalist influencers come up to him and was trying to interview him on his iPhone. And this Republican has the best answer I've ever heard any politician give anyone ever.
Do you trust Trump's national security team to keep...
Okay, did you hear that? Do you trust Trump's national security team?
Congressman Perry, do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
Do you trust your mother every night to fix your Hot Pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?
I love it. Whoa, what a burn. I love that one. Did you guys hear that? Oh, my goodness, that's the best. I'm Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk.